guys, Ken here, your thrifty apprentice, and welcome back to another thrifty review. In today's quick review, we are taking a look at Brunyzeel Rijks Museum 50 count of colored pencils. I purchased this set a while ago, as with a lot of products, because it takes me a minute to get around to reviewing some of them. So I've been using these pencils for just a little while now. Let's just take a look at how they come. Now, when I received these pencils, I ordered them in combination with the watercolor pencils, and I would like to say that I ordered them from Jerry's Autorama online, if I'm not mistaken. But in the video description, if you're interested in the pencils, I will be listing as many sources as I can for this particular set. So they come in this really nice tin. I must say it has a really beautiful illustration on the front of it. This is the Rijks Museum line. So this is a sort of specialty collection of the pencils that they've put together. There are 50 included, as I told you earlier. And here you're going to see sort of a diagram of what each of the pencils look like. Now, I'm going to close that down tightly and flip it over on the back so we can take a look here. Now, there is the name of the company, which I do believe is in German. The Night Watch, 1642, Rembrandt. So this is Royal Talens produced. It gives the address, the website. So Bruynzeel must be a line of pencils, or is a line of pencils by Royal Talens, which is a pretty reputable legacy company. Royal Talens produces really good products, in my opinion, from my experience. I really like their Van Gogh line, and of course we do know that they produce the Rembrandt line of professional paints, which has a reputation for being one of the better professional grade of watercolors on the market. Now, these pencils do conform to the ASTM D4236 regulation, and they are for US only, made in China. Now, here you're going to see sort of some pictures of what the other specialty collections look like. Now, this is the Rijks Museum watercolor pencil set, which I have used, tested, and already reviewed on the channel quite a while ago. I'll see if I can list a link to that video in case you guys are interested in seeing the review on the watercolor pencils. And I've also decided that I'll start trying to link all of the videos that the product was actually used in our review video. I'm going to try. Don't hold me to that. I'm really going to try to remember and go and search for those videos and link them. So let's pop the tin open here. And we're going to make this really quick. It's not going to be long at all. It's a really nice tin. It latches really well. There were no issues with that. I'm having to turn it sideways because of the way my camera is set up at the moment, guys. So it comes with 2 individual trays. Each tray has 25 pencils per tray. Now, the pencils do not have any name or color or any numbering system, any names on them at all. They are definitely a budget grade of pencils. Now, some of the pencils I've already put numbers on in order to correspond with how I have them swatched out. I have not done it for all of the pencils. I just kind of used them as I was testing them and put them right back where they were, so that they will automatically match the color swatch. I am going to have to go back through here and continue to number the pencils, and I'll just do it 1 through 50. That way it correlates with the way I have it listed on my color swatch sheet. But never mind that. Here is the barrel. The barrel does have, is sort of hexagonal. It's capped and domed on the end, so you really cannot tell whether or not the lead is centered from just looking at the edge of the pencil. However, I did find that most of the pencils sharpened really well. They were sharpened to a really fine point, and I didn't experience much issue with uneven sharpening, which lets me know that the leads were pretty centered for the most part on all of the pencils. Now, as you can see, the barrel is black. It contains very minimum information. There is a color chip on the end, which is supposed to correlate with the color of the lead for the pencil. But as in any case, when it comes to a product, I always suggest that you swatch the product out on the paper that you're going to be using it the most. That way you do have a very reliable reference to what that particular color is going to look like when you're using it. Just a little personal suggestion. So here you'll see it says Rijks Museum by Bruynzeel, and that is all of it. No star rating system for light fastness at all. Of course, no pigment information, and you typically don't expect that with the color pencil. But even budget pencils are starting to put light fast information on their products. So I do believe that that's something that, you know, Royal Talens may want to consider for this particular line. So with that being said, I wouldn't really use the pencils for any commission work or for anything that I was going to be hanging directly in sunlight. Sketchbook work, definitely practice mixed media work, things that you may be reproducing, but with no information on how reliable the pigments in the barrels are, I would not use them for anything that I was going to sell or anything like that. So, really nice range of pencils. They're a pretty decent looking pencil. I mean, they don't have much information on them, so it's not like it's anything to just wow you, but they are a kind of generalized, visually aesthetic pencil that you see a lot of times when it comes to budget pencils. The tray that the pencil is in itself is pretty flimsy. Outside of it, the tin is pretty cool. All right, let's look at some color swatching. So I swatched the pencils on white as well as black paper, mainly because I wanted to test opacity. Wanted to see what type of layering I could get and just how opaque I could get them. So here, this particular swatching is done on Universal Pad Mixed Media Paper by Creative Mark. It's 90 pounds. Being a mixed media paper, it is meant to take a lot of different type of wet and dry media. So for the most part, I think the pencils perform pretty well in the swatching on this particular type of paper. Sort of vibrant colors. I mean, they remind me a lot of the other budget pencils that I've used. You know, I did not see anything spectacular about the pencils, in all honesty, that just made them stand out from a lot of the other budget grade pencils that are out there, other than the fact that maybe this particular set comes with 50 in it. Here's swatched on Strathmore 400 series mixed media black paper. That paper itself is 140 pounds and it's cold pressed, if I'm not mistaken. It's really smooth. The pencils do show up pretty opaquely. Now see, your lighter colors are going to be more opaque than the darker colors. You can see you have more transparency when you start to get into this area, your range of blues and greens. Now, you are going to get quite a variety of colors, but what I found as I was testing the pencils, even though there were 50, there were still some shades where I was sort of missing sort of that middle color or that bridging color. So you have to get creative when you're mixing and you're using the pencils. But that's not necessarily a drawback, because that happens in a lot of cases, you know, with a medium that you can't mix, like say paint. But with all of that said, I really didn't experience much issues with the swatching. The color payoff from the pencil was pretty good. The lead is a little dry and kind of scratchy. It's definitely not as soft as most pencils that I like to use. Now, these are, if I'm not mistaken, a wax-based pencil, but I think they perform more like an oil-based. The dryness of it, the fact that they don't leave much of a waxy film. I mean, there's a small one, and that's going to happen because all pencils are composed of both wax and oil. Whether or not it's considered oil or wax-based is based on the percentage of which one it has the most. So if it has more oil, it's going to be considered oil-based. If it has more wax, it's going to be considered wax-based. There's not a lot of waxy payoff with these pencils, so I would definitely put them in the line of an oil-based pencil. Yeah, no doubt about that. But again, really dry lid. It was sort of scratchy. There's not much fallout from the lid as you're using the pencil. However, I did notice that if you use a really, really sharp pencil, and I had this happen in one of the videos I was doing just recently, and I think I actually say something about the lid snapping. As you can see, it sharpens to a really fine point. you can get some really great detailing with a lead that fine, a tip that fine. The issue is you have to be light with the pressure, because I did discover that although they don't necessarily break a lot, the sharper the lead is, the higher the risk that they can break when you're using them. All right, so let's take a look at some testing that we did. Here we did some smudge test with it. The pencil smudged just a little bit. The more pigment you have on the paper, the greater chance that you could probably rub your hand through it and smudge it. I would suggest when using these pencils that you put something down up under the hand that you're using to actually illustrate with. That will help prevent on the smudging. Here we did a water test, which surprisingly enough, the pencils moved and reacted way more than they should have, in my opinion, to water, with it not being classified as a watercolor pencil. And if my memory serves me correctly, it moved about as much as the watercolor pencil version. Maybe not as much, maybe not exactly the same, but I just think there was a lot of movement in water. They did blend down really well with the solvent. Here I use Gamsol mineral, so they will react to a mineral spirit really well, which will help with layering on finer tooth papers. Of course, the grittier the paper or the more tooth the paper has, the more pigment it's going to grab from the lead of the pencil. So, I would kind of use the pencils on a more toothy paper. It's definitely going to help with the color payoff. They erased surprisingly well. I was surprised at that. I made some mistakes here and there in some of the practice paintings and some of the pieces that I've done off camera. And I was able to just grab a white vinyl eraser. And I was really surprised with the ability that I had to lift the color off of a lot of different types of paper, in all honesty. Next, we went in with the layer test. I only did 7 layers. By the time I got to layers 6 or 7, in order to lay down more pigment, I did have to apply more pressure. Now, I will say that normal use of the pencil, the color or the pigment kind of leaves the lid based on the paper type that you're using pretty easily with this pencil set. So I didn't have to use a lot of pressure. It was really comfortable to hold the pencil. I will have to admit that. So, those are some things to think about and consider always when you're looking at a pencil set. Here I did some blending balls where I used several different colors in order to just see how much I could blend the pencils together. Now, if I tilt this paper just right, you may be able to catch the waxy sheen that's on that. But as you can see, it's not a huge one at all. I actually kind of like that, if the truth be told, depending on the type of composition that I'm doing. I was able to get some nice shadows here with those blending balls. Yeah, I really didn't have, in all honesty, I don't really have any complaints about the pencils or the way they perform. I just don't have anything, or they didn't offer anything, in my opinion, that really sets them apart from, your standard budget pencil that's on the market. Here, as always, I did my little rose stamp when I'm testing preliminary some color pencils. They worked really well to color this in. I got some really nice color saturation. Again, I did not have to use a lot of heavy pressure in order to do this particular one. I remember this specifically. Some, pretty decent greens in there. Pretty cool yellows. As I said, you got some nice colors. You do. I think they could probably work a little bit more on the earth tones. But I'm not sure if this set was really curated to cater to having a lot of earth tones. And then here I did a little kind of plant in a pot, which eventually led to a demo that went up on a channel of one that I did independently of this in the sketchbook, and we're going to get to that in just a minute. It was a mixed media piece, excuse me. So for the most part, had absolutely no problems with the pencils. They performed how I was really expecting them to perform when I popped the lid open, if truth be told. let's quickly look at some paintings that we did or some compositions, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Now, something that I haven't posted the video on, I made this little llama card because I wanted to test out one of the Crafty Corner stamping sets that I picked up from the Dollar Tree. And I just kind of did this little landscape with the pencils and colored in the llama and the little blanket that's thrown across the llama's back. Just kind of having fun. I did shoot a video of putting this card together and creating it. I'm just not sure if I'm going to post it yet, but so pencils did nicely. I mean, you know, I was able to sketch out a little landscape there and really get some nice definition in the color. Pencils, and that is, oh, let me think, what type of paper is that? I want to say that's that tone sketching paper that came in the Prina art kit. So that's what that was. Let's see what else we did. Speaking of the potted plant, if you guys recall, we were testing Rosa Gallery watercolors, and I did this mixed media composition where we used the Bruynzeel color pencils in order to add a little body and definition to the painting. Enjoyed that. I enjoyed this painting. I had fun doing this one. I believe this was the painting that I did when I was coming out of a block. So you always enjoy those compositions the most when you paint something that you like after being in a little rut. Yeah, I remember splattering over here because I said I didn't want a blank page next to it. So yeah, the pencils performed really well in that mixed media aspect. They did lay down and add more definition and saturation to the watercolor. So for what I would use a color pencil for in a mixed media setting, the way I paint, I think they perform pretty well. We also have everything that I showed there is going to be a painting demo of. If you guys remember, I was putting together one of my art books, and I'm just going to flip this open really quickly to show. I'm still working on this one to list on the Etsy shop, but if you recall, for Valentine's, we did this little layered card which had the pockets on it, and I told you that the card was actually being made to be inserted into the signatures of one of the custom journals that I made. And this was the alcohol marker composition that was done with the Bruynzeel color pencils laid on top of it, again to add more body and saturation. And once again, they didn't fail me. They, you know, they performed how I expected them to. Yeah. So no qualms, no disc about the pencils, other than the fact that they're just your everyday run-of-the-mill budget grade color pencil. I mean, it just kind of boils down to that. And then lastly, there's also a video up of this particular apple where I just used the pencils solo because I wanted to see how they will perform by themselves, other than these two little small miniature paintings that I did. So yeah, everything turned out well. I'm not dissing the pencils at all. You know, I'm just saying that if you have a nice set of budget grade pencils already that you're happy with, I just don't see the necessity, unless you're like me and you just hoard painting and art products because you just have an obsession with testing and buying. I need help. I know I need help, but I feel like it helps me kind of share information with you guys so that it can prevent you from buying it in case it's not something you like. So yeah, if you have a nice set of pencils already, especially a professional set that you're happy with, and you just, I mean, this would be a nice beginner set, you know, for someone just breaking into color pencils, testing it out, seeing if it's something that they like or an art medium that they would like to continue to explore. I could see that happening. I could even see the pencils maybe being for a beginner or someone who's in school, maybe in art school. I think they'd be really good in that particular aspect because you have a decent performing budget grade pencil and you're not spending a lot of money because trust me, I know, I've been there. Tuition is high and college is some hard times monetarily, so I get it. Speaking of money, let's talk about what the pencils cost. So let's take a look here. The two main places that I shop at, which are Amazon and Jerry's Autorama. Here you will see on Amazon the Royal Talens Brunyzeel Rijks Museum. Let's go back. Rijks Museum edition artist set of 50 design color pencils is currently listed for $41.40. And if you order, get them by Thursday, March 9th. Yeah. And then here on Jerry's Autorama, you'll see that the set of 10 Rijks Museum is listed for $36.79. And of course, if you're a Prime member, you're going to get the pencils free delivery. You know, with Jerry's Autorama, you're going to have to meet a quota price-wise in order to get free shipping, or just pay shipping. But there you have it. So I'm definitely going to link these two in the video description in case you're interested in those pencils. I will see if I can find some other places to possibly source it from and list if possible. But definitely those two. So now let's get to the giveaway. As you guys know, as you all know, we have had a giveaway running on the channel for about 2 weeks, or maybe a little more, where we were giving away one of the art books that I created and showed in the little art book tour video. You can find that on the channel if you're interested. I have my gloves on so that we can just take a look once again at what was going to be given away. If you guys remember, we were giving away this art book that I made. I will let the winner know that all of the little doodads and gadgets and tucks and turns that were included in this book, I have actually removed them and put them in their separate packaging just so that the book will lay flat in order to be mailed. But you have those goodies right here, all of those extras. And I did also get that core watercolor sample dot card in there. So you do have watercolor in there to use in your book on the pages that are meant for the watercoloring. So yeah, I really hope whoever wins has a ball with this. You can place those doodads and bits and bobs back in your journal as you see fit, wherever you see fit. Explore, play, have fun. That's what the art books are for. So again, I'm just going to go ahead and say congratulations right now to whoever may be the winner. Of course, the rules to enter the contest was pretty simple and straightforward. All you had to do was leave a comment on the video. Yeah, leave a comment on that video. I was going to draw randomly. Now, had there been enough people, I would have used the random selector to do this drawing. But since there was only 5 people, then I felt like, hey, we'll do it the old-fashioned way like I normally do my drawings, because there don't be a lot of people. Oh, well. So, here we have a magical Pringle can. You are amazed, right? It's just a Pringle puzzle can. Look down in it. There's absolutely nothing in there. I want everybody to know just how fair this is. We're going to leave that right on camera as I pick up the names. I left that purposely on camera for quite some time so you could check those and make sure that your name was included. You know, if you left a comment, it's below. Yeah, it was below that video. All right. Just bottom those up. Yeah, I got the gloves on because I picked up that journal. I took the advice of a viewer who noticed that I do handle pages quite a bit. And I assume she had to think that, you know, he's constructing these books, so he's got to have his hands on them all the time. And she made the suggestion, especially due to with the watercolor pages and the things that we use for water-soluble products, that I wear gloves to kind of prevent the transmissal of, you know, oils from my hand. And actually, I really thank her for that. I think that was a wonderful suggestion. I'll be honest, I hadn't really thought about it because I guess I'm kind of careless and reckless with my watercolor paper. But when you're talking about putting a product together for someone else, you do need to think from their point of view. So again, I really thank her for that. Here we go. Let's make this happen really, really quickly. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off as I do this. If you like anything that you saw or heard in this video, please don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Go ahead and share it. There may be somebody out there who wants to hear this information. Hit us up on our social media sites. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Let's do this drawing. And we're gonna pull out just one. Come on. Give me just one. There we go. Just one. And the the winner Let's see. If I can get this unfolded with these gloves on, I guess it would have made sense. I'm silly, right, to take the gloves off. And the winner is Katrina Hollick. Katrina Hollick. Miss Katrina, I hope I didn't butcher your last name. But Katrina Hollick, you are the winner of the, if I'm not mistaken, Miss Katrina is the person that left me that wonderful suggestion about wearing gloves. How ironic is that? Hit me up. Send me a link, or I'm sorry, an email with all of your information, shipping, where you need it sent to the Thrifty Apprentice at gmail.com. It's somewhere on the screen. Yep. Okay. Great. Don't forget to hit us up at the Thrifty Apprentice sponsored Facebook group. Pencils, paints, pastels, and markers. Great people, great artists, good artwork I've seen coming through that group, and I really like the people that are there. They're really supportive. Love that. Okay, am I forgetting anything? Comment section, hit it up. Let me know what you guys think of the pencils. Have you used them? Are you familiar with them? I would love to know your thoughts on that. And am I forgetting anything? I don't think I am. Stay tuned for a lot of wonderful content. Don't forget to hit the subscription and then the notification bell. Tell your friends to subscribe. Pass the word. Help the channel grow. And remember, as I'm now telling you at the end of every single video, just keep painting and crafting.